New World was like no place the Spaniards had ever seen. It was a paradise, a wonderland, untouched by the technology and perils of the Old World. But how did this discovery of the Americas come about during the Age of Exploration? To gain the success Portugal had gained by trading with Africa, Columbus was commissioned by the Spanish monarchy to look for a route across the Atlantic Ocean to Asia. Instead, he and his men discovered the Americas. This information and much more is found in the accounts of Bartolome de las Casas. In his writings, he not only preserved the history of the 16th century Spanish colonies, but also advocated for the human rights of natives who were being brutally massacred by the Spaniards. In the book Bartolome de las Casas and the Americas, we will give a condensed overview of these accounts. Hispaniola, which is present-day Dominican Republic and Haiti, was the first island in the Indies the Spanish encountered during the first voyage of Columbus in 1492. According to Las Casas, they were so awestruck by the natural resources and beauty that they took and brought back gold, stones, parrots, and objects never before seen in Spain. Columbus was, as he is now, praised and glorified for his discovery. Columbus would be commissioned to go on 2 more expeditions. By the 3rd expedition, Columbus requested 8 ships packed with 330 men and their merchandise to permanently settle on and take over the territory across the Atlantic. After their settlement, the Spanish quickly got to work, enslaving and forcing the natives to perform manual labor to uncover gold and precious natural resources. This was known as the encomienda system. Many natives died under the intense heat of the Caribbean from exhaustion and starvation because they were not provided with much food to sustain their lives. Columbus and initially Bartolome de las Casas were supporters and involved in this system. There are 2 main groups of natives who are most noted for revolting against the Spaniards, the Caribs and Tainos. Cacique Haitu was one of the most famous examples of Taino resistance. In an attempt to escape Spanish punishment, he fled to Cuba. Unfortunately, the Spanish conquerors found him, and this revolt, as did most, resulted in the savage torturing and murders of the native rebels. The Spanish also conquered and colonized North, Central, and South America, where Las Casas also visited. Just as in Hispaniola, once the Spanish settled, merciless slaughtering of the natives would follow. The mainland consisted of the province of Nicaragua and New Spain, which is modern-day Mexico. Spain forced the natives to dig and search for gold and natural resources. If the natives did not perish from the intense labor and burning hot climate, they were rounded up and murdered by the Spaniards to have complete control of the land. Thousands upon thousands died in a day at times. Las Casas was among the first to defend the natives and condemn the Spanish colonizers. He was especially horrified by the encomienda system. Las Casas passed the massacres of natives throughout the colonies. Las Casas' first act of activism was relinquishing the natives he kept as slaves and later freeing the natives working in his encomienda. He later went to Spain to petition to the Spanish king. He then went to Hispaniola with religious figures to convince the encomenderos to relinquish their encomiendas. Unfortunately, his efforts backfired as the encomienda owners worked their slaves even harder and under even more severe conditions to gain as much resources before it was abolished. The Spanish and European discovery and settlement resulted in an invasion and the complete annihilation of populations of natives. Their memory and culture deserves to be preserved within our minds, literature, and history.